That's TJ Lyle, lead singer for the Georgia Thunderbolts. The band has just released their new album, Rise Above It All, after touring Europe with Blackstone Cherry. Here is TJ to tell us about the new record and how European audiences react to their brand of Southern rock.
I feel like they respected our music a lot more over there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, sure. I sure did. They love the rootsy, the raw music. And like I was talking to somebody the other day, and they was asking Riley, the lead guitar player, like, what pedals does he use? He uses one pedal and a tuner. That's it.
Yeah.
It's everything we play just comes straight through our monitors and our mains and our amps and our fingers and our vocals.
Right. Yeah, I get that sound. I'm an older guy, so I was around in the 70s, saw Skinner, the whole bit. So I know what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah. That we try to do it. And when it's real, it's hard to, when it's real and you're doing harder music and you're trying to bring it every night. Some nights it's not as good, but it's real.
Right. Well, I'd rather go to a show where it could be good, could be bad, rather than knowing it's going to be the same every time,
Exactly.
Because that's boring.
Exactly. Yeah. It just gets so stale.
Yeah. So this is very exciting. All right. So this is the album Rise Above It All. When did it start coming together as a record for you guys?
2000 and when was that? The January of last year.
Okay.
We started working on that in between our touring schedule. We actually started touring pretty early last year. We started in January, the colder part of the year. We had almost a month run with a band from Oklahoma. We were out on the road with them, and in between traveling through, coming back from Oklahoma or the West to the East, we'd pop through Kentucky and record some songs on our travel days, and then we'd go on to the show. And if we were routed coming back that way, we'd stop back in and record. So it was really recorded on the road.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. And when you do record, are you all in the studio, in the room together? I'm assuming that's the case just by what I hear.
Yeah, it's live. Everything's live. Yeah. And that's why it's so hard to capture a sound that we really love doing it live, is because we really feed off of the audience.
Right.
When we're playing some nights, we've talked about it. We'll be like, man, I wish somebody was recording that,
Yep. Well, these days you can record every night, fairly at least. But yeah, whether it's good enough to keep or not is another story. Yeah, because I just who is it? Devin Allman, Greg Allman's son, a couple of days ago. He's from I think he lives in St. Louis now or someplace like that. But a lot of Southern rock happening these days. Does it feel like got a resurgence is going on?
It really does. I'm starting to see more and more bands, like even the bigger like metal or active rock bands. They're kind of doing more of a Southern twist thing to it now.
Right.
Like they're like, I'll see ththese videos posted and stuff, and their hashtags on YouTube will be like rock, Southern rock, and I'll be like, I haven't seen that in a while.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's suddenly cool. Suddenly hit.
Yeah. I know.
It's just like country music. Everybody's kind of claiming to be a country artist now, and
I guess it's exactly right, though.
But yeah. So when you did get into this, how were decisions made with the band? You got 13 songs, which is a pretty hefty track listing here. Who's making the decisions on what you're going to record and what it's going to sound like and how it's going to be mixed and all that stuff?
Our manager, Richard Young from the Kentucky Headhunters, he's big hands-on with us, and he produced our last two records,
right?
So this one included, and he's pretty much the go-to guy for all that. But we try to give him a little more than like your 9 or 10 songs, because like certain places, they have certain days where they do record day releases and certain songs that they could give you that's not on the actual record. So we try to look out for stuff like that.
Right. And I see he kind of co-wrote a few of the tunes on this record as well, right?
Yeah, sure did.
You got one called Rock and Roll Record, which is kind of the second track. Maybe you can touch on how that came together.
This is a rock and roll record.
Yeah, actually, I wrote that song back in 2000 and right before COVID. Right before COVID, I had just got me a piano, and I was learning to play piano. And what was that song? I don't remember what song it was. It was a Journey song. I was sitting there trying to noodle around and learn it, and hit the wrong note, and it turned out that it wasn't a song. It wasn't the song I was playing at all. It was a song that I was hearing in my head. Yep. And it was that song. I sat there and worked through. Like I said, I was trying to learn the piano chords and sit there, and I wrote the whole entire song and sit on it for about, it was 19. That's 3 years, 4 years almost. And come 2023, we needed some songs, and I had that one. I was like, well, what do you think about this? And me and the guys were sitting there talking, and I got a little studio at my house here. So we went out there and we all get in a room, like always. We all get in a room, we get in there and we record the demo, and we send it to Richard, and he was like, well, this is great. Let's take it to the studio and let's get it right. And he wanted to help change a few things lyrically to make it a little more, I don't know what it was aiming for, but I like the way it turned out. I think it turned out pretty well.
Yep. Because when I saw the title, I was surprised to hear piano right at the beginning. I thought it was going to be, riff rocker all the way through. And
you never know what you're going to get.
There you go. And it kind of had a little Bob Seger kind of turned a page vibe to it by the time it got through to the end. So
yeah, that's a big influence.
Better to pick on Bob Seger than Journey, I think. Just
yeah, definitely.
And I see you cover. Well, you have a couple of interesting covers. The "It Ain't Easy," which everybody knows as Bowie did it, but it's not his song. What caused you to play that one?
When you go up on the mountain, you look across the sea. You know there's a lot of places where a young man could be. Then you jump down on the rooftop, look across the town. You know there's a lot of strange things circulating round. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy going to heaven when you're going down.
Well, we were looking for something cool and off the cuff to do in the studio, and we'd never really heard that song before in the studio, so we learned it there on the spot. Richard actually suggested that one.
That's interesting.
We learned that one on the spot, and it come out really cool, really different than anything we'd ever done up to that point. And we did it, and we loved it. And now we were just sound checking 2 days ago, and Riley was like, how did we play that? He was trying to remember how to play it. I was like, we need to do it. We need to sound check it and throw it back in the set when the new record comes out. So he come up with that suggestion.
Yep. And I see you're Frankie Miller fans as well.
Oh yeah,
I got a few of his records here. So.
Oh man, you got The Rock.
Let's see. There's this one.
Yep.
That one.
Full House. The Rock. Yep.
And I think it's his first one. There's pretty close too.
Yeah. What is that one? High Life. Yeah. Is that the one that was produced by Alan Toussaint, or was
Yes,
that?
Yes, it is. Alan Toussaint is on it. Yep. He's the first name here.
Yeah, it's a monster. He's one of my favorite vocalists of all time.
Yeah. How'd you hear about him? Because that was a while
back. Yeah. Well, Richard, actually, I spent a lot of time with Richard, and he told me about Frankie. And when he told me, I was kind of like, well, I don't really listen to new guys. He's like, well, he's not new. And I was like, well, okay, I'm going to check him out. And then I went back and I started researching Frankie, and I started listening to him. And then I started living, sleeping, eating, breathing the guy's music. And what a shame that he is not one of the biggest names, household names.
Yep.
Vocally, songwriting, stories. Oh my God, that voice, man.
Yeah. There's always
incredible
slipped through the cracks that just never got the attention that other people have, and
it's such a shame.
It's like a luck of the draw.
yeah, and I heard actually at an interview, I was real deep one night into something. I think it was what was his name? Ray Manhinnett was the guitar player for Frankie there in the Full House band.
Okay, let me just see. Let's see what's his name here. Yep, you're
Ray.
absolutely Ray Menhenna.
Yep, that's him. And friends with him on Facebook. And he was talking about something in an interview, sent me an interview, and I was watching it. And I'm a huge fan of the Beatles. Huge fan of the Beatles.
Can't go. How can you not be?
Yeah. And he was telling me that Frankie was a huge fan. And there's a live version of what is that song? Cold Turkey. John Lennon's Cold Turkey.
Yep.
Frankie did it. And I think it was either Rockapalooza 78, 79.
Right.
But he did it, and he said that he was talking to somebody that knew John, and he said that was his favorite. That and Jealous Guy was the favorite cover of any one of his songs anybody had ever done. And I was like, wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's being held in some regard there.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I watched the John Lennon, there's a documentary that May Pang made about her lost weekend days with John.
Yeah,
very revealing. I'd recommend it because it's a different story than what you're used to hearing about. What happened?
That's I think that's the weekend, if I'm not mistaken, with Harry Nilsson and all them, right?
Yeah, but it was much more than a weekend.
Yeah, a few years, right?
Yeah, because they ended up moving back to New York and living together for a while with the Yoko down the street. So
that's strange.
But it was all Yoko's idea at the beginning. So there you go.
Really strange.
Yes, it's stranger. Now you got a tune called Little Jim, which sounds like it was written about a real event or person. Is that true?
15 years, no one speaks your name. Falsely accused, no one else to take the blame. You were tried for murder in the first degree. But 10 cents on a dead man's eyes is the last thing you'll see.
Yeah, it's true. It was an old outlaw who was a preacher.
Right.
His name was Reverend Jim Brown. And he was a gunslinger. He was a huge gunslinger back in the day, but the thing was he was a big duelist, and he was like a bounty hunter.
Right.
And no matter what he would be doing, though, the story was he would always end up in church. Like they called him Deacon Jim Brown.
Right.
And he was always in church, no matter what he was doing, where he was at. He had like stories and stories of his life, stuff that he had done, but he was actually gunned down for something. He was a bounty hunter, and he was gunned down in the wrong. And I thought that was really neat to write about, somebody who trying to deliver justice in those days, which was a little extreme, but, they're trying to deliver justice, and then he gets gunned down for, whatever reason. But he was like a big church guy and stuff like that. And I thought, Little Jim, I think that's pretty cool. So like the front of the song is Little Jim. It tells a story. And then when that crazy guitar solo comes in, it's like the ghost of him, it's like the ambience of it.
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of guns then, and there's still a lot of guns now out there. So
yeah, you got that right.
Much difference. And I was kind of touching on the political scene. How is it feeling over there? Things have changed a bit in the last few weeks for where you are? Not
really. Nothing much has changed. I tell you, the big change was what really got everybody shook up was COVID. I mean, I don't think everybody's really quite got over that yet.
I think you're right. Yep.
And it's not something to really get over or just put behind you, because it's, it was a scary time.
Yes. Yep. You're right. Yeah, because nobody really when nobody knows the real story, or it's a mystery to everybody, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. And then everything that we were doing, that was when our first album was about to come out. We had tours lined up and everything. And then, and a lot of bands did also. And then just overnight, it was over.
Yep. And you don't know when it's going to be back or if it's going to be back.
No, like you're sitting there thinking, what am I to do? And, you kind of gives you time to get back in tune with yourself and look at things in a different way too, know?
Yep. I noticed the album art is pretty distinctive. Who came up with that for the new record?
Well, we all kind of had a hand in it, but some guys at the label
Right.
drew that up, actually, and it was really neat because, below us you got swamps and, the marshes and, alligators and everything else.
Yeah.
Around here every summer we get lightning bugs,
Right.
and to us, when you see lightning bugs, that means it's going to get cool soon. So we thought that would be kind of a cool thing to do because it's something we know and we see on our drives, and we've seen on our drives every day, or around here, cabins and creeks and swamps and, stuff like that. And
Yep.
so we kind of wanted to make it something neat like that. And the guy, I don't remember their name at the label, but they come up with that and knocked it out of the park. Thought that was really neat.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
And do you take much, because I know you got a couple of videos out and all that. Do you take much a part of those kind of decisions?
I'm gonna stare into an ocean, staring back at me. I'm gonna ride that wave I've chosen till it can't carry me. I'll rise above the noise. Know I'm gonna make it through, but I'm gonna hit that trail wide open. I'm gonna shine till I can see it through.
Our videographer, Jim Arbogast, he's a real good friend of ours.
Right.
And he's from down in Florida.
Right.
He comes up
playing in front of the ocean there. So
yeah, that was probably the worst video shoot we ever did. It was hot, and we had to carry the drums through the sand, and oh my gosh, that's what I told the guys. I said, I'm never writing a song that mentions an ocean again. You can forget it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I said, you can forget it. No, he's great though. He has great ideas, and he asks for our input. He likes our input and things that we think would be cool and stuff like that. So it's nice to kind of learn the ropes and feels and things like that.
Right. So you're heading over to Europe. Have you ever been down to this part of the world, Australia or New Zealand? No?
No, we've always wanted to go.
Well, I think you should, because it would go over well. We got a big Americana scene down here, so that pretty much everything. So, yeah. And do you go to things like the Americana Fest in Nashville or things like that? Have you taken part in any of those things?
Yeah, we actually headlined one of those right after COVID a few years ago.
Right
before they shut down Mercy Lounge. We played one of the headlining slots over there in Nashville. That was really fun.
Right. And so is there a sense of community with the like-minded individuals and bands and stuff that you feel a part of?
Yeah, not really. We're friends with them all.
Right.
But everybody this day and time is so much different than each other.
Yeah.
Like, because we'll get up there and then we'll play like get up there and play like a Benny King song, or
right. Yeah, I saw you covered Benny King. That's pretty cool.
And like a Joe Cocker song, and then those guys are covering like John Prine and Neil Young and stuff like that. So it's very diverse, but we all get along. There's nobody that we've met that we've never got along with. We're all we're all outgoing guys, and we just try to make friends with everybody we can.
There you go. All righty. Well, come on down here if you get a chance. Yeah, we'd love to have you down here. It'd be good to hear it live and in person. It's always
that'd
that
be
way.
Wonderful.
Especially with the kind of music you guys are playing, where I don't imagine you have a lot of click tracks that you play to.
No,
I didn't think so.
No, you get what you get with us. You're either going to get a sore throat or sore fingers.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.